Hi everyone. I have another reading and it's going to be the end of this, I like to call it an energy sequence, where I'm a little bit nomadic, or I'm very nomadic in my life right now. So I'm going to be changing locations. That's for personal reasons that I'm not going to get into right now, but I will be changing locations, and so I wanted to do one last reading for the energy that I've perceived and interacted with here in where I am right now, which is Stamford, Connecticut, if you really want to know. Yeah. But if you're a stalker, I won't be here for long, so you'll have to find me. So I'm gonna do readings for every sign now. I realize that's what the power, as I went for a walk with my dog after the Scorpio power energy, I was like, okay, this is not just one personality. Of course I'm attracted to Scorpio because that's my story, but I'm gonna also do a reading now. That will be the upcoming next 12 readings, is a specific reading for each sign, and that may feel like annoying to you because you're like, well that will only leave me with one reading. But that's not true, because you may have a moon sign in this other sign, you may have Mercury, Venus, Mars, or like even just the south node, or like there could be other aspects that are really related to this sign that you're not seeing. So it's really important to look at your birth chart. So the sign that I want to do, and each sign I'm gonna have a power, I wanted to say a power word, but the last power word I used was power for Scorpio. I'm gonna have a thematic word for the reading. So this is a no card reading, and it's for the sign of Aries, and it's about Aries dealing with their own healing. Okay, full disclosure, I am an Aries rising, so it is a little bit selfish because I want to know what Spirit has to say. So there's a lot of things that you've been dealing with that are like, they're like not going how you want, you know. Aries is a sign that kind of likes to have everything sort of planned out. They do have Virgo in the 6th house, which can, I mentioned last time in one of my comments that can mean that your day is structured around the care of small animals. It can also mean like extreme anxiety and like even gastrointestinal issues, or like worry, mental health issues. It can mean like someone who is very detail oriented and likes to have things how they like, okay? And Aries is a sign about control, just as Scorpio is. And it's funny that it's the next sign I'm choosing because both signs are ruled by Mars, but I'm gonna leave the Scorpio thing out of it because this is for Aries energy. And Aries energy, you may have, they're also teachers, okay? Most Aries will have Gemini in the 3rd house, or Aries rising, or Aries sun. So that means they're natural teachers. So, and also the 12th house in Pisces, you have some hidden victimhood in your life. I don't know why those 3 things seem really important, but like I think there's some hidden like talent or energy that you are not expressing, and it's affecting your body actually. You know, a couple months ago, maybe 5 months ago, I was having some really intense stuff going on, and my kidney function plummeted. And my doctor, I have alopecia, and I'm doing a treatment, so I need to get my blood checked regularly, and my doctors were like, unless you get this fixed, like we're gonna take you off the meds, because they were like worried. Of course, I obsessively became health obsessed and corrected all these issues that I read were probably contributing to my kidney dysfunction, and it was resolved. But I'm sensing something like that, like you're not aware of how some experience has really affected you because you're in your warrior mind, which is very Aries of you. But the 12th house in Pisces, there's a real hidden sensitivity with Aries. Really, there is also a naivete, and I think you may have met someone that like you felt safe with them in a way that was different, and there was like a friendship built. And you will attract a lot of weird types, and you can blend in different types at Aries because you have Uranus in the 11th house, or Aquarius in the 11th house, I mean. And that also makes you someone who can be stubborn, can have trouble dealing with, like, you may be like a hard personality in some ways. You might want to look at your charts. You might have a south node that's very tough. So, for example, if some people have like Capricorn in the south node, that can mean that their future after the age of maybe 30, 40, around there, they're really meant to learn to have some deeper feelings and sensitivity for the people around them. Same with Aquarius. If Aquarius south node, you come from a lot of like reliance on thought, and then your journey is to move toward the heart, which is Leo. That would be the north node of someone with a south node in Aquarius. So you might want to look at that. I think the Aries that's tuning in has some toughness, some boundaries, some shielding. There's been some, it's not only this recent event that like shook you up and like affected your body, and now you're just like realizing that stress can be like a serious matter. You're like slowing down. It's not just that. It's like this old pattern you have. I'm seeing Aries where okay. So the original the pattern is you don't feel like you have the tools you need, which is ironic because the original sign for Aries was a tool, like in ancient like Sumeria, or maybe it was Mesopotamia. Anyway, there's like astrology existed in these times, and the ram, well, it was also used as like a symbol for spring in like Roman celebrations. Like there was like a whole like ram celebration of like spring coming. I believe it was the Romans or an adjacent culture. But like maybe it was the ancient Greeks. Anyway, I'll write that below. Sometimes I get muddled with the facts of things, but I know that there was an ancient culture that used rams at springtime to like they worshipped rams at springtime. Okay, that word worship stuck out to me. I think you may be like in a relationship where you really, maybe you like worship this person. Like, that's not healthy, okay? I think you see this person as above you, even though they may have treated you poorly. Like maybe they're like really smart and you have felt like stupid in your life, which is not true, Aries. Whoever's tuning in, Aries can be brilliant people because they're ruled by the head. So that means the brain, and it can be just really fast, genius people. I've met several Aries who were literally geniuses. It can be writers too, really talented writers. Because of having Mercury in the third house and a couple other things. Yeah, I'm seeing the yin yang symbol here in my mind. I'm trying to just with these no card readings, I just let the images come through. I think you need to see a little more of the yin and yang in life, which you may be reading as like one way, but the way I'm trying to tell you is you matter, you know? Like this person that you were like putting on a pedestal above you, I don't know if it's a long-term relationship, maybe you're like exiting this relationship, maybe it's not. I am kind of sensing a romantic entanglement here. I think it was reminiscent of the way a parent may have felt below them and they put you down. But I'm also seeing a period in your life where you individuated from that parent and you were like, I don't really believe the stories that have been told about me in my family of origin anymore. And you were like, sure, go ahead, like gossip about me or whatever, think what you want. And maybe also in just like your town, you were just like, I don't really care anymore because like I'm a success in my own life. Not just with money, but like with spiritual stuff. You were like, I'm like doing better than I was. And these people want me to be in this like old version of myself. And it's like really stifling. You can feel this like stifling energy. So what I would kind of recommend is is as we get towards Aries season, which is going to be incredibly empowering for you because it's spring's coming. That's going to lift your mood. A lot of Aries can get seasonal depression because they love being outdoors, really pioneer kind of energy, especially if you're cusping Taurus, can be very outdoorsy people. As you get outdoors, get out of the, the main thing is being an Aries rising. I know we have a lot of excess energy and we may have different nervous systems. I certainly did than all of my siblings. I was hyper. I had to be in sports and activities because if I didn't, I would come home and be like, just like off the walls. Because I just had a lot of, I was just giggly and excited. Sometimes I would be sent to my room for being so excited because my parents were afraid I would hyperventilate because I had asthma. I think there's a similar thing with you where I mean, it's a funny story in retrospect, but it's also like my parents, that was the only way from their parenting that they knew how to deal with that kind of nervous system in the household where I wasn't like angry. I was just like giddy and like jumping around and like freaking people out. And they were like, calm the F down. And that's beautiful to have that kind of like active nervous system where you're like picking up on everything and like really quick. But I think that for you, Aries, there needs to be a time of slowdown, of slowing the processing time, and just take this person off the pedestal. They may be very smart, they may be very talented, maybe they're like a musical genius or something. Yeah, I've dated musical geniuses before, or maybe they're like an amazing, like they have something that made you be like, oh my god, this person is like amazing, and put them above yourself without seeing that you have amazing qualities too. You bring something too, and that person saw that in you too. So yeah, the reading is about honoring your gifts, your skills, your abilities, and not discounting them. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm wishing you so much love, and I hope you have